Welcome into the Birds Broadcast Network. Ian Nicholas and Dylan Pescatore, your broadcasters for 2023. We're back at home after a long road stretch, Ian. Back home, playing the Falmouth Commodores, who come in on a 5-game losing skid. How can the Firebirds, who won last night in a big one, continue on tonight?
Well, they can continue by getting a lot of hits, obviously, right? 11 hits last night. Wouldn't really appear that way because you only put 3 runs on the board. So you just need to be a little bit better in runners in scoring position because the offense is so close, right? You know, the last night's game against Brewster was very similar to the game a week ago at Stony Brook Field. That was before the big knockout punch game on Thursday. So you've given yourself opportunities. Guys in the lineup are starting to get hot. You're just 1 or 2 big hits away with guys on second and third from just blowing the game out of proportion. So just continue to, fight and count and get guys on early in the inning, and that'll set you guys up for success.
Last night against Brewster, a 3-2 win for the Firebirds. Now, the pitching wasn't perfect. However, it was very close. There were some iffy moments, including that 8th inning with Sam Leboki coming in, loading the bases with nobody out. But how big was it to get out of it with only 1 run allowed?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, obviously, when your offense does good work, you build yourself a little bit of a lead, and your bullpen can kind of go out there and do their thing. And he did load the bases with nobody out, which you never want to see. But at the same time, I don't know if you can really blame it on him 100% because the weather was really bad. I mean, it was raining in the middle of the inning pretty hard, and he could probably not grip the ball as good as he usually could. But then the rain subsided, the rainbow came out in the background, and with it, Leboki got back to what he was doing at Vanderbilt over the last 2 years, which was dominating. Gave up the sac fly to center, but then a strikeout and a ground out, end of the inning, and Orleans was able to hold it the rest of the way.
They were. They won 3-2 after 9. Another win against Brewster, 3-0 on the season against the Whitecaps. Welcoming the Commodores today. Starting pitching has been the name of the game for the Firebirds. They continue to churn out rotation after rotation, good starts. How important is that against a team that's very hungry coming in?
It's extremely important, especially against a Falmouth team, like you mentioned, not only a 5-game losing streak, but just 1 win in their last 9 games. They need this one badly, sitting in the bottom of the West Division. But Evan Truitt, he's going to make it difficult for them. I know he had a shaky first start against the West Division team in Wareham on the road a couple weeks ago, but bounced back in that monster 13-2 win against Brewster last Thursday, going 5 innings, getting 4 strikeouts, no walks, 1 earned. He's got good stuff. Charleston Southern doesn't scream, he's going to be pumping it out, but 95 with some good off-speed offerings to follow up that fastball. He was pounding the zone, working with efficiency, and I expect the same level of Evan Truitt here tonight.
Now, before we go over to Sammy Miller, one more thing for you, Ian, is that this Falmouth team has lost a lot of players through Team USA, through limits, whatever. They have to have a lot of guys step up, and their starting pitcher, A.J. Causey, is one that has to do so tonight.
He is. Somebody that Jake Peppers, one of Orleans' starting pitchers, and a Falmouth guy last year, knows well. They were teammates together at Jacksonville State over the past couple seasons. Causey, though, taking his game to another level. He's going to Tennessee, who not only one of the best teams in all of college baseball, but they know pitching, one of the best pitching staffs routinely in all of college baseball. The big pitch for Causey is the changeup. He has a changeup that's unbelievable, a sidearm delivery, a pitcher. He calls himself an 100% off-speed pitcher, so he is crafty as it gets. It's going to be tough to figure him out. Bourne was able to figure him out just about a week ago, gave up 4 earned in 5 innings, so he's not unbeatable, but he is a guy who is not your average Joe. He gets it done in so many different ways, and maybe Peppers has a little bit of a scouting report on him. You hope.
You hope, and hopefully you can give that to the lineup. We're going to go to Sammy Miller now, who has a little bit more on the team's dugout and how they are so resilient the past 7 games with 5 wins. Sammy?
Steve Nash will go down as one of the best point guards in the history of basketball. And what do point guards do? They assist. The 5-time NBA assist leader was always that main facilitator out there on the court and put the team before himself. Now, of course, I'm not on a hardwood right now. I'm on a field, but the same message is given here in Orleans. Manager Kelly Nicholson continues to say, I need more Steve Nashes out there, meaning that he needs more assists on the field. He wants his players to put the team before themselves and help each other out any way they can. Steve Nash was also such a competitor, and that's exactly what Kelly Nicholson wants out of this squad. Guys, back to you.
I don't know what's more sweet, Steve Nash with an assist on the hardwood, or maybe just a guy helping out another guy in scoring position, passing the baton. Sammy talking to one guy with California roots and Kelly Nicholson, Steve Nash. Dylan talking to another one, Danny Carrion from UC Davis. Let's catch up with him right now.
Thanks, Ian. Dylan Pescatore here with Danny Carrion. And Danny, you came in yesterday. You were the closer yesterday. Last 3 outs in the 9th inning, 1-run game. What's going through your mind as you came into that one?
I was pretty relaxed. It was a similar situation that it was similar to my role at UC Davis. So, I mean, I've been there plenty of times, so I felt confident, and I was filling up the strike zone, so it makes me feel even better.
A lot of guys who come in, some relievers, some starters, they don't have the moxie. They don't have the feeling to close a game. What does it take into a special person like you to come in and get those final three?
I think it just takes confidence. If you're confident, then you're going to trust your stuff, and when you're trusting your stuff, you're throwing good. You know what I mean?
Your fastball was electric yesterday, along with your off-speed slider. How are you kind of feeling so far through a few 3-4 outings so far this year?
I know I was a little worried at first to see where I'd fit in out here, but I mean, been doing good so far. It feels like I fit right in, getting along with the guys, and I feel like I have a role on this team now, so I'm happy about it.
The last 3 games, it's been everyone out of the bullpen, no matter if you're a long reliever, short reliever, someone like you. Everyone's kind of done their job and made an impact. So how is it in the bullpen seeing these guys perform and perform well?
I mean, it's great. I mean, I think that we build off each other and each other's outings, and when one guy goes in and shoves, it just kind of builds the confidence that the next guy about to go in, and we got the guys putting up runs for us, make it interesting, so we're rolling good.
This team's won 5 of 7, and it's kind of been on the back of its pitching, starting and bullpen relieving. So as a unit, how do you feel like you guys are doing, and once this offense can really get going, what's the potential for this squad?
I think we can compete for a championship. I mean, I'll be gone by then, but it looks like we're getting some new guys and a lot of confidence in the guys that we already got here, so I think we're going to be playing for something towards the end of the year.
Awesome. Thank you, Danny. Back to you, Ian.
Thanks, Dylan. Danny, a key part of last night's win for Orleans, trying to keep it up tonight at Eldredge. Finally back at home for a big game. Orleans in Falmouth. It starts oh so soon right here on the Birds Broadcast Network. We'll be right back after a quick break for all the action between the Commodores and the Firebirds.
Here on the Birds Broadcast Network, back home after a week on the road. Last time here, 13-2 win over Brewster. The Firebirds are looking to do the same thing tonight against Falmouth. Welcome in to Eldredge Park. Dylan Pescatore and Nicholas, your broadcasters for this season. 6:26 p.m., just a few moments away from first pitch here from Eldredge. Ian, it's been shaky with the weather, but you know what hasn't been shaky? The Firebirds starting pitching.
Yeah, that's a good one, Dylan. Evan Truitt trying to continue a great trend for Orleans ever since that win against Falmouth 8 days ago from Gov Fuller Field. Starting pitchers for the Birds have given up no more than 2 earned in any of their appearances. And Truitt a part of that trend in the massive 13-2 win against the Whitecaps. Thursday, he pitched 5 innings, gave up just 1 earned run, 4 strikeouts, no walks, looking much better to the Charleston Southern man in his second start of the season than he did on the road in Wareham on the 14th.
The Firebirds are rotating through starting pitchers, and they've continuously gotten good starts. They've gotten good appearances for the most part from the bullpen. And let's start with the players that Truitt will be facing, the starting 9 for Falmouth. Take it away, Ian.
John Spikerman leads off, playing in center field. Travis Bazzana bats second, playing at second. Kyle DeBarge is third, playing at third. Tyler McGregor making his debut, batting cleanup, playing at first. Walker Yannick is behind Vidish, he bats fifth. Joe Redfield's in right, he's batting sixth. Gavin Turley's in left, batting seventh. Gavin Keelan batting eighth at short, and Tab Tracy, the designated hitter, rounds out the order for Coach Jeff Trundy.
This Falmouth team has lost 5 in a row. They've scored 1 run in each of their last 4 games. Clearly struggling offensively as the Firebirds look to keep that going and make that streak go to 6 straight losses. We're ready for baseball here on Wednesday night from Eldredge. Lights are on, Hill's packed. The Firebirds going for 2 in a row after a huge 3-2 win at Brewster last night.
It's been a while since we've been here.
Truitt's first pitch, swinging. Penny off his glove. A bad hop, and Spikerman will reach.
Going to go down as a base hit for Spikerman. Hard hit ball, as you mentioned. Penny has made a couple errors on the season on the left side of the infield, but honestly, he's played some great defense, and not a whole lot you can do there.
Had to take it with just his glove hand, and it rolled up his arm. Spikerman reaches to start off this one. Travis Bazzana, the second batter for the Commodores. From Morgan State, playing second base so far, a meekly 1 for 12 on the year. out of Oregon State. The righty Truitt. First pitch offering is in the dirt. To second goes Spikerman. Henry Hunter, who's doing the catching for the Firebirds today, couldn't corral that one. Around the defense and the defensive alignment for the Firebirds from left to right in the outfield is Andy Blake getting his first start in the outfield. Jake Casey takes center, Micheletti Jr. in right. Penny, Farrow, Oyama, and Hyatt are from third to first. Spikerman's on second with nobody out and a 1-0 count to Bazana. Truitt takes a look and fires a strike. And last time out, Truitt was great. He was right back here. This was actually our last home game.
It was 6 days ago. Orleans has been a road warriors this season. Only 2-4 here from Eldredge, but it was crazy fireworks for offense and for Truitt on the mound the last time we were here.
It was so good, even when the lead wasn't as big as it got, which was up to 11, a 13-2 final. But in those innings, 1, 2, 3, and 4, where the offense really was kind of sputtering, he was so great.
Just had great command of his stuff. And for somebody coming out of Charleston Southern, the Big South, he's got big league stuff. 95 miles an hour on the fastball and confident.
Bazana flies this one to left center. Casey over into the gap and makes the catch. Tagging to third is Spikerman. The throw from Casey is just late. Truitt gets Bazana to fly out. Spikerman moves up to third. Here's Kyle DeBarge.
Not a surprise that Spikerman was able to tag and move over. He's got great speed on the base paths. 5 stolen bags on the summer, 27 with Oklahoma in the spring. He's moved around the diamond pretty easily off a pass ball or wild pitch, whatever you want to call it, and that fly out. But will he come home?
Infield plays in. First pitch from Truitt is a strike called to DeBarge out of Louisiana Lafayette, playing third base tonight. An interesting move to bring the infield in this early in the game. Truitt fires the 0-1 low to Hunter.
DeBarge coming off a good game. Off day for Falmouth, needing it after 5 straight losses, but went 2 for 4 in their latest loss with a run batted in.
Team struggling for offense. DeBarge takes the ball inside. Now 2-1 the count. Spikerman off third. Single, moved up on a wild pitch, and then moved over to third on the sac fly. DeBarge is looking to get him in. That one outside. Truitt doesn't get the call.
To get on the board early would obviously be a goal for a Falmouth offense that has struggled mightily ever since these two teams met just over a week ago. They've been shut out for half to 2/3 of the ball games.
Fouled off on the 3-1 pitch. The team in Falmouth that's 7 points behind a playoff spot right now.
And, you know, you've brought that up a lot. I know you're a big believer in every game matters, and every game does matter. But right now, Falmouth needs life. They just need juice. It's a team that has struggled since a decent start to the year with a lot of close games, and its recent stretch hasn't been very competitive.
The full count pitch is fouled away into the on-deck circle. Tyler McGregor, who's on deck out of Northeastern. The big lefty watches on.
I mean, 6 of Falmouth's first 7 games, it came down to 1 run or less. And ever since you've had, you know, a 12-1 loss, an 8-1 loss, where the bats just aren't rolling.
Do the full count pitch again. Popped up behind home plate. Hunter gives it chase. Will he have room? It hits the netting before he can even have a chance. So the battle continues between Truitt and DeBarge.
Truitt 11 pitches in through just a third of an inning, now 12. You know, starting pitching for Orleans has been fantastic. A big reason why, avoiding big numbers in pitch count. Right now he's on track for at least 20 pitches in his first inning, if not more.
Full count to DeBarge again with the infield in. Truitt fires another foul ball first base side. And onto the hill, which is packed tonight.
People love Eldredge. You know, we've had an opportunity to see a lot of great ballparks over the past few days, whether it was Lowell Park in Cotuit, White House Field, Harwich, great venues. But something always makes Eldredge special, and it's the hill. No other field has it.
The bars, did he go? Yes, he did. Truitt wins the battle with the high fastball and gets his first strikeout of the night.
That's big for Evan Truitt. With a runner on third and 1 out, you need that for your confidence. Just to keep Spikerman still 90 feet away from home, going up in the zone. Great battle from the Barge, just not enough.
McGregor, in his first at-bat as a Commodore here on the Cape, the big lefty from Northeastern, takes the first pitch ball. Truitt looking to get out of an early jam, which started with a single from Spikerman on the first pitch of the game. Now 2-0.
I don't know, Northeastern Huskies here on the Cape, a power in the CAA, flirting in the national rankings this season as well.
Won the tournament this year. Got to the big tournament. 2-0 is lined into center. Casey will make the catch. No, he drops it. Running and scoring at home is Spikerman. Casey looked like he had a beat on it. The wind is moving here at Eldredge. It dropped out of his glove. That'll be an error. Spikerman comes around to score, and McGregor is on first base.
I would agree with that statement, Dylan, but the scoreboard reads 2 hits here from Eldredge. So that's going to go down, at least for the moment, as an RBI single for Tyler McGregor. Tough break for Evan Truitt. He's pitched well in this first inning. Spikerman reached on a hard hit infield single, moved over to second on a pass ball, wild pitch, whatever you want to call it. Again, comes home on what is probably an E8.
This one again into center. The ball finds Casey. Off the bat of Yannick. He'll make the catch on this one to end the inning, but not before Falmouth gets one on the board. A gritty run. Spikerman with a single. Advanced to second on that wild pitch. Moved to third on the sac fly by Bazana, and then scores on the error by the center fielder Casey. 1-0 Falmouth as we go to the bottom of the first.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Eldredge Park. This is a very important safety announcement. No matter how tempting it is, do not cross Route 28 from the ball. This is a busy state highway, it's private property on the other side of the road, and the drivers are paying more attention to the game lights and scoreboard.
Back on the Birds Broadcast Network from Eldredge Park on a Wednesday night in Orleans. Falmouth will head to the mound. We'll head back to defense. Orleans coming up for the first time today. Let's start with the lineup for the Firebirds.
Lineup for the Firebirds tonight. Joe Oyama leads off, batting first, obviously, and playing at second. Andy Blake in the outfield for the first time this season. He's in left, batting second for the Birds. Eddie Micheletti Jr. in right, batting third. Matt Hallback DHing, and he is batting cleanup. Jack Penny on the hot corner, batting fifth. Jake Hyde at first, batting sixth. Jake Casey in center, batting seventh. Henry Hunter behind the dish, batting eighth. And the switch hitter, Drew Farreau, rounds out the order for Kelly Nicholson's crew at shortstop, batting ninth.
They face A.J. Causey from Jacksonville State, transferring to Tennessee for next season. One start on the year for Causey. It was against Bourne 6 days ago. 5 innings, 5 hits, 4 runs, all earned, 1 walk, and 2 strikeouts. Was mostly a starter for Jacksonville State this year. Came out of the bullpen at the end of the year. I asked Jake Peppers about him. I said, give me the scouting report. He said, that changeup is nasty. He's not a hitter. He hasn't faced it in the box. But from everyone that he knows and talks with, the changeup is the pitch for Causey. And he'll face the active Cape Cod Baseball League batting average leader in Joe Oyama. .389 in terms of the batting average. First pitch swinging, ground ball to second. Up with his Bazana, throws over to first for the out. One pitch, one out for Causey.
Oyama, I think he has that title because he puts the ball in play so often, and his speed puts a lot of pressure on the infield to make the play more than usual. Unfortunately, goes down on one pitch there, but it's been a fantastic summer for Joe Oyama.
Causey's a sidewinder. Throws a ball inside to Blake. Blake got the offense going in the 6th of last night's 3-2 win against Brewster with a leadoff double. Was driven in by an RBI single by Jack Penny to tie the game at 1 at the time. There's the sweeper. Has a lot of movement on it. Blake doesn't bite.
Blake, in his last 6 games, 10 for 26 from the plate. He has looked a lot more like the player who won Ivy League Player of the Year at Columbia in the spring and is headed to Duke next season. He just hits line drive after line drive if he's on top of the ball.
And now playing the outfield for the first time this season for the Birds. From 2-0 to 2-2. We've seen a few sidewinders out of the bullpen against the Firebirds this year, Ian, but none straight from the top starting. Causey almost takes it, if you think of a clock, like 8 o'clock. Fires a sweeper, strike 3 called. Locks up Blake. First strikeout of the night for Causey.
Causey was a strikeout machine with that sidearm release in the 8th zone with Jacksonville State. 89 punch-outs in 76 1/3. That led JSU. And another great thing is he doesn't walk a lot of guys. Only 23 walks.
And there's another strike. Throwing strikes, he's getting it in the zone, and he's freezing hitters. In his start against Bourne, you wonder, how do you give up 4 runs? Nicoletti takes a ball outside. But he was falling behind in counts, and Bourne, who is the hottest team in the Cape Cod Baseball League as of now, was barreling him up. Hard contact.
It's just so interesting because records don't mean a whole lot in this league at this very moment. I mean, obviously Falmouth is at the bottom of the standings, but it's a completely different Commodore team.
2-1, right back to Causey, who fields his position, flips over to first for the out. A 1-2-3 inning for Causey in the bottom of the first. We'll go to the second. 1-0 Falmouth on the Birds Broadcast Network.
You can buy tickets to the table behind the home dugout or see Tom Rapani who will be coming around through the crowd. Tickets are $1 for $1, $5 for $2, $25 or $60 for $10.
Back on the Birds Broadcast Network. We go to the top of the second. Evan Truitt back to the mound to face off with Falmouth. Almost got out of a leadoff single and then a man on second with nobody out. Jay Casey made an error in the first inning. He did redeem himself after a fly ball to center by Walker Yannick to end that one. Joe Redfield from Sam Houston State will be the first batter in the second, the lefty.
Truitt did not get lucky in that first inning. John Spikerman reached first pitch swinging. It's a leadoff man with an infield single that got by the glove of Jack Penny. Bounced hard in the infield dirt. Wild pitch cost him.
Line drive into left. Back goes Blake and makes the catch. It's the natural out there.
Yeah, Andy Blake. He started the year at third base for Orleans, although he was a finalist for the National Shortstop of the Year award due to his monster season at Columbia. So we thought that was a little odd because he did make an error in his first game at third, if I'm not mistaken, and now he's in left. I mean, he's got great speed, good size, should be able to range well left to right, but we'll see how it goes.
First pitch is a strike to Gavin Turley. Another Oregon State. We got 2 Sam Houston States, 2 Oregon States in this 9-man lineup for Falmouth. The righty now evens the count 1-1 against Truitt.
He's still in search of his first hit here on the Cape. 0 for 8. He has been hit by pitch twice, so he's gotten on a few. Big swing and a miss.
Truitt using his off-speed to his advantage.
Truitt was pretty even balls and strikes in the first inning, but now 14 strikes on 23 pitches overall.
1-2 just outside. Hunter Truitt looked to bring it back. Didn't get the call. Truitt takes a big, deep breath. The 2-strike pitch is popped up in the infield. Oyama will call everybody off and make the catch. So 2 quick outs here in the top of the second for Truitt. Up comes Gavin Keelan out of Louisville.
Yeah, obviously in the Cape League, you never know who's going to be calling balls and strikes. And another day, another new umpire behind the plate. Federico de Jesus, if I'm not mistaken, has not been on any of the games this year for Orleans. So I don't think that's something guys are thinking about heading into games, knowing what kind of zone they're going to get. But, you know, you adjust and you move on.
A 1, now 0-2 after a tip into the mitt of Hunter from Keelan. Packed hill looking for Truitt to get through the second. Outside for a ball. Keelan's hitting .230 on the summer, 9 for 39, 6 RBIs, and is in the 8 hole for Falmouth tonight. The 1-2 into left center, going to be a tough play, dropping quick. Andy Blake makes the catch. 1-2-3 second, bounce back for Truitt. We'll head to the bottom of the frame. Firebirds up to bat.
What Cape home design will you dream up? For over 16 years, Cape Dreams Building and Design has specialized in building custom homes for clients across Cape Cod. Our core values of honesty, integrity, and quality work are what separates us from other Cape builders and help us make your dreams of your next new home a reality. From new construction to additions and renovations, contact Cape Dreams today or visit our website at capedreamsbd.com.
We head to the bottom of the second. Here from a beautiful night in Orleans. Everyone's out to watch their favorite Firebirds. And up come the 4, 5, and 6 hitters for Orleans, including the man who had the go-ahead triple in last night's 3-2 win in the 8th inning, Matt Hallback out of UC San Diego. A huge triple to the left center field gap, got past the center fielder Will Turner from Brewster. He scored. Andy Blake with the hit, and then Matt scored on a single by Jack Penny. Made it 3-1 at the time. Firebirds held on in the final innings.
Hallback has great power in the bat. Extra base hit not only last night, but in the late stages of Orleans' loss on the road to Cotuit the night earlier. Already driven in 3 runs in just 5 games with the Firebirds. Battling back from an early season injury here on the Cape. He's looked good.
First pitch swing, another ground ball into right field for a single. They had the second baseman Bazana playing towards second. Hallback hit it where they ain't, and a leadoff single here in the second for Hallback.
That's just a great piece of hitting and making me sound smart. Goes the opposite way, and as you mentioned, Bazana was shaded towards his right. Hallback slaps one the other way, farther towards the right field line. Getting leadoff guys aboard. That's what helped Orleans so much.
Penny's first pitch swing. Bazana up with it to second for 1. On to first, not in time. The Oregon State man fired it to Keelan. got the force out at second. Hallback's taken off the bases. And both first pitch swinging was Penny and Hallback.
Bazzana didn't make an error on the first go around. It was just a well-hit ball in the 4-3 gap. But he wasn't going to let a ball in his direction get by him a second time around. And he makes a smart play to eliminate the runner in scoring position for Orleans.
Jake Hyde is the batter out of Georgetown. First pitch is low. Almost got away from Yannick, the catcher. Penny's at first with one out.
That's the thing about that changeup. It sinks a lot. So whoever is catching for Causey, beware or be warned. You never know where that thing is going to go or when it's going to drop.
Strike at the bottom of the zone to Hyde. The tall lefty out of Georgetown. Still looking for his first big hit as a Firebird. It's been a bit of a struggle so far this year. Takes the ball low. And what's really been the scouting report on Jake and that he's been struggling with has been the high fastball. Well, this is a perfect matchup for him because Causey, not a guy who throws a fastball, as he says.
It's true. But he doesn't necessarily throw low velo stuff. He's a guy who, before last season with Jacksonville State, was only throwing 87, 89. Then pretty much taught himself how to work out better, watching videos, reading books. Now he throws low 90s, 91, 93. So it's not necessarily a fastball as there's a strike, but as that gets a great call for Causey on the lower third. But not necessarily like he's throwing mid-80s. He's still got some heat.
Full count to Hyde with one out, Penny on first. Then he stays. Hyde, ground ball to short. Up with it, Keelan to second. Bazzana on to first. A double play. 6-4-3 for Falmouth as the leadoff single from Hallback is wasted. We'll go to the third. 1-0 Falmouth on the Birds Broadcast Network. Here on the Birds Broadcast Network, top of the third, Falmouth up 1-0 with Evan Truitt back to the mound. He'll face 9-1-2 in the Falmouth order. Much better in the second, a little bit shaky in the first, but he got back to where he usually is in the second.
He did, just attacking the zone, not getting too cute. I've talked about it already tonight. Your defense is going to have your back, but sometimes things don't break your way, so John Spikerman was able to work his way around the base paths and score on an error from Casey in center. Truitt did not let that shake him in the second inning, though. Outside of that first start against Wareham, the last 7 innings from Evan Truitt, he might be the 4th or 5th starter on this Orleans team, but he could easily be the second guy right behind Daniel Ovidia. It's just such a deep starting rotation. Everybody brings something a little different every night. He's been fantastic over these last 7 innings.
Of course, you mean 4th to 5th as they've been scheduled. All of them have been number 1 in terms of their results. The lefty Tab Tracy is batting 9th tonight. Leads the Commodores in average, 300. Takes the first pitch ball inside. Out of Texas A&M and DHing tonight.
Yeah, Tracy has not had a lot of opportunity over his first 2 years at the collegiate level with just around 70 at-bats. It's rarely that you see a player who doesn't play a lot in college end up on the Cape, but he's got a lot of raw talent. Spent his first year at Houston.
1-1's outside. And that kind of tells the story of a lot of these players where the coaches come to some of these Cape League managers and say, I got a guy who maybe I don't have space or time to play, but he can really show up and play big against big-time talent.
I mean, Tracy's numbers in college are good. He's slashing 271, 320, 330. He doesn't, hit the ball out of a park, but gets on base, good speed. A lot of things alike.
Fouls this one left side out of play. Tracy going with the high socks tonight. Truitt puts his hat back on. You see the fans on the left side fans on the hill. Pretty packed night here in Orleans. Even some fans behind the right field fence. Tracy goes the other way on the ground. Up with it is Farreau. Throws it over just in time. Tracy hustling down the line. But Farreau gets the ball to Hyde right before he touches the bag. First out here in the third.
Another semi-long at bat. Truitt takes care of business. That's now 5 straight outs recorded ever since that error from Casey that scored Spikerman in the first inning.
Speaking of Spikerman, here he is. Man who started off the game with a first pitch infield single. Truitt fires a fastball at the top of the zone. The 0-1 pitch is a little bit low to the lefty. Out of OU, taking the trip over here to the Cape.
Spikerman, a well-known name at the collegiate level. Sooners made a deep College World Series run last year. He was a big part of it.
Not in this year, but with how the Big 12 handles itself so hard to consistently make it. An arm warming up in the Orleans bullpen. It's a lefty. We'll get you that number when we can. 1-2 is high to Spikerman. Truitt's pitch count in a good spot. That was pitch number 40. Could be Chase Loomis out there, 39, out of Texas. Who knows Spikerman pretty well, I assume. 2-2, wasted away.
He's probably not a huge fan of him, given the fact he's just been great at Oklahoma over his first 2 years at the collegiate level. Loomis looking for a little redemption. He debuted for Orleans against YD on Sunday. Big win for the Birds. Didn't have his best stuff. Got a lot of potential.
Spikerman pulls this one first base side, but foul. For the most part, the Orleans pitching has, to be blunt, carried them a lot of the way. You remember the 13-2 win against Brewster. Really the only game that the offense has really taken control and hasn't made the game stressful or close. Inside, count runs full.
I think the offensive numbers for this team lie a little bit. You know, you look at the numbers for Orleans, whether it's runs, it's hits, it's whatever. I think over the last week and a half, it's been a different group. Still doesn't mean that the pitching isn't the catalyst for a lot of these wins.
Full count, swing and a miss. Gets Spikerman swinging. Second strikeout for Truitt. Seems like he's found his groove. Travis Pizzana, who moved Spikerman to third on a deep fly out to center field in the first. Truitt's first pitch is a strike.
Looking so much better in these first 2 innings is Truitt. You know, Loomis might be getting warm in the bullpen, but if he can get out of this around 50 pitches through 3, you hope he can give you 4 innings. You know, Kelly Nicholson is pretty consistent in terms of when to pull the starting pitcher, regardless of how well they're pitching.
Popped into center again. Seems like deja vu. Casey in the left center makes the catch. 1-2-3 again for Truitt. We'll go to the bottom of the third. Falmouth still up 1. Orleans chasing. Back here on the Birds Broadcast Network, we go to the bottom of the third. So far, not so good for the Orleans offense. One hit as well for Falmouth. They got a little bit lucky in that top of the first, getting a run across. Bringing up Jake Casey, Henry Hunter, and Drew Farrow as the bottom three in the order for the Firebirds tonight against A.J. Causey, who's looked good. He's gotten weak contact, especially out of Jake Hyde to end that second inning.
He was able to generate that double play. Not to get out of necessarily a jam, but it's so difficult for a pitcher if they can't get that first out of the inning to navigate through the rest of the frame. Casey, or I should say Hyde, someone still trying to find his stride from the plate this summer. You know, I understand. I said last inning Causey doesn't throw the hardest, but, you know, that's because he backs it up with getting weak contact.
First pitch to Casey is inside. It's been a bit of a rotation for Jake. Him and Eddie King have split time in the outfield, and usually it's 4.5 for one player and 4.5 innings I'm referencing for the other. Casey takes a strike.
Both of them have got the opportunity to play pretty much every day now because of Austin Overn's departure from the squad to USA Baseball.
Casey gets hit. A 1-1 pitch. Casey gets hit in his leg. He'll reach. Second time that the leadoff man for the Firebirds has reached here in the first 3 innings.
It's the third time this year that Casey's been hit by a pitch. All 3 in separate games. He's now tied for the team lead with Matt Hallback.
That's right.
Who got plunked in each of his first 3 at-bats as a Firebird a couple weeks ago. Casey would probably prefer not to go down 3 times tonight via the HBP, but hey, you reach, you reach.
If it helps the team, and clearly that one didn't hurt. It nicked him in the leg, and Causey wasn't throwing the power changeup or the sinker. Henry Hunter is the batter. Lefty out of UAB. Looks to drop down a bunt, takes a ball. The Firebirds have been excellent at moving runners over with bunting. Their base running has been, for the most part, elite. Doing all the little things right. Squares around a bunt again, takes a strike at the bottom of the zone.
Well, it all starts with Joe Oyama, obviously. Stole over 40 bags last summer in the West Coast League with the Wenatchee Apple Sox, and he's already got 3 stolen bases this summer with Orleans. Andy Blake, he's got good speed too.
Hunter takes the ball low. Yannick looked to bring it back up. It starts with Oyama, but it really starts with the coaching of Kelly Nicholson.
100%. I mean, he sets out every summer to build the best roster possible, but I feel like every manager wants a certain kind of ball player. For Kelly, obviously, he recruits a lot of guys from the West Coast, and I think you could probably tell this story better than I could, going to Arizona State, covering a lot of Big West, a lot of Pac-12. It's just a different kind of baseball out there compared to a lot of the parts of the country, and speed is a big part of the game.
So interesting how different conferences have different mentalities. Hunter chases on the 3-1. Count now full. Casey on first after getting hit by a pitch to start off this inning. Causey's pitch count is very, very low. It's pitch number 27. Here comes number 28 to Hunter. Casey is off. Strike 3 to Hunter. The throw is into center field. Casey gets up quickly, but a strong backup by Spikerman. He was right there to make sure that the base runner, Casey, didn't take off for third. Hunter goes down swinging for the first out of the inning.
And that's what Spikerman gives you in center field. Great speed and great defense. You know, it was an up-and-down sophomore season for him, and obviously it was a down season for Oklahoma after that deep postseason run in 2022. The bat was kind of cold midway through the year before he heated up towards the tail end of the campaign. But one thing that usually doesn't go is what you can provide defensively.
First runner in scoring position for the Firebirds tonight is Jake Casey here in the third. Drew Farrow is the batter, batting 9th. Heading to Florida State next season. Played this past season at UCF. The 1-0 is outside now, 2-0. Farrow, whose at-bats are getting longer and longer. He's really battling up there, and it's only a matter of time until the results come. We know he's got such a raw power effect in him. The 2-0 unleashes that, but just missed it on a foul ball.
I mean, Drew Farreau is, I think, somebody that's perfectly built for the modern game and probably has a lot of scouts excited for what he's going to do in the ACC with Florida State this year. Switch hitter. I mean, who doesn't want that? Hits for power. Who doesn't want that? Solid athlete, too.
2-1 is low. Casey off second. Firebirds chasing one. They were in this position last night against Brewster after James Tibbs, the lefty, hit a solo shot against Chad Gartland in the bottom of the fourth. He came back in the top of the sixth to tie that game. See if Drew Farreau can do the same thing. 3-1 is outside. Farreau draws a walk and passes the baton to Joe Oyama.
Passing the baton, something that we've talked about a lot this season for this offense. You know, Sammy mentioned it in our pregame show. Kelly Nicholson from the Dugout talking about we need more Steve Nashes out here. Now, I know Sammy's a big basketball fan, so she probably got that reference quicker than you and I did. But passing the baton means you got to be like Steve Nash, lead the league in assists. Don't be selfish. Draw out at bats. And let the next guy, like the league leader in batting average, Joe Oyama, do his thing with 2 runners on.
1-0 to Oyama, who squared around the bunt, pulled it back. Farreau on first, on second is Casey. Causey still having trouble finding the zone. Steve Nash, always a good pull. When I think of assists, John Stockton has to come to mind.
Chris Paul in the modern era.
Chris Paul, talking about the young folks.
Oh, no offense, he's no spring chicken.
2-0 swing and a miss by Oyama. But now he's in a great spot. Maybe win a championship his first over at the Warriors.
That's such an interesting team. So many guards. Curry, Thompson, no Jordan Poole. Obviously, he was traded to Washington.
This is our weekly NBA talk. Goes on for about 30 seconds. Oyama fouls it left field side onto Route 28. 2-2 the count with 2 on and 1 out.
Well, I'm excited to see what he does. I mean, the Warriors, it's just, I feel so bad for their fans. They just don't get to see a winning team. And now they just get richer. It's a shame.
Matt Hallback, a huge Warriors fan.
He is.
See if he's excited about it. 2-2 to Oyama outside. 3-2 with 1 out. Another great at-bat from Oyama.
He's a hard guy to strike out. Hard guy to retire, period. Not only leads the league in batting average, but in 11 games, he's only struck out 3 times.
Second is Casey. First is Farreau. The full count offering. It's outside. Back-to-back walks from Causey. And a hit by pitch to Casey. No hits by the Firebirds this inning, but they have the bases loaded with 1 out.
And when I look at everybody in this lineup for Orleans, I don't think there's anybody I'd rather have up in this situation, given how they've swung the bat in the last week than Andy Blake. I think Falmouth understands that too, and that's why there's a mound visit.
So a mound visit on the mound for Falmouth. Andy Blake to the plate. Had a big night yesterday. A leadoff double in the 6th. Also had a big walk in the 8th to start off that inning. Came around to score on the Matt Hallback triple to score the go-ahead run in that game. Blake from the right side. He'll be transferring to Duke in the fall after 4 years at Columbia. He's just a pure hitter that's really starting to find his groove.
He is. I mean, he hit over 360 with the Lions in the spring. It was a tough start to the year for him. But the wood bats just do that. The barrel's much smaller. It's a much different feel. Metal bats make things a lot more easy and hitter-friendly. Only 1 for 12 to start the year. He's been the Whitecaps killer. But he's up with a massive spot to prove he can do it against every team right now.
First pitch is inside. It gets away from Yannick, and Casey's going to come in and score. A pass ball off of Yannick's glove. Casey saw it right away and sprinted toward home. The Firebirds tie it here in the 3rd.
That's a pass ball for both teams now, or a wild pitch, whatever you want to call it. That's been really critical in this game. Spikerman does not come home to score in the first inning if Truitt doesn't throw a wild pitch.
Farreau moving up to 3rd. Oyama at 2nd. Infield now in for Falmouth. Blake pops it foul, first base side onto the hill. So not only did Casey come around to score, but the base runners on second and first in Fro and Oyama also move up. 2 in scoring position for Andy Blake with 1 out. One is popped into shallow right. Over is Redfield. Runner is Farrow. He fakes the tag. The throw home is right on line. He would have been cooked. So Blake couldn't get the job done. Didn't hit it deep enough, and now it's up to Eddie Micheletti with 2 outs and 2 in scoring position.
That would have been pretty sweet, though, for Falmouth. Joe Redfield, the Sam Houston State guy in right. Yannick, the other Sam Houston State product behind the dish. That's a duo you do not want to mess with. They know how to work with each other.
Drew Farrow made the right move to not go. 2 outs. Here's Eddie Micheletti Jr. Another pitch outside. Causey having trouble in this inning throwing strikes. Now the majority of his pitches have been balls. 22 balls and 20 strikes here in the bottom of the third. Micheletti grounded out right back to Causey in the first. Another ball outside. Now 2-0 to Micheletti. This is exactly what happened to Causey against Bourne. He was consistently falling behind in counts.
If you cannot throw that first pitch for a strike, guys are going to understand they can take one on you and work the count much easier.
Gets a strike, makes it 2-1. Farrow's taking a big lead at third. Coached by third base coach and hitting coach Max Fesky. Also his birthday today. Happy birthday to Coach Fesky.
It's a big day. Hopefully his team gets a big win.
2-1, now 3-1 to Micheletti. On deck is Matt Hallback, who singled in the second. Infield now moves back with 2 outs. Oyama with a big lead off second. He'll be coming in and trying to score on a single to the outfield. It's a walk. The third walk of the inning for Causey. Loads the bases once again.
Interested to see how Jeff Trundy and pitching coach Mike Landry handle this situation for Falmouth, because he did not pitch particularly well in his debut this summer against Bourne, but he still went 5 innings. I don't believe there's anybody in the bullpen right now warming up for Falmouth. You've got the bases loaded, 1 out, 2 outs.
First pitch to Hallback is low. Back-to-back games before this one with an extra base hit. 1 a double, 1 a triple for Hallback. Still looking for his first home run of the year. The 1-0 is fouled behind home. Firebirds also looking for their first grand slam of the year.
They've had a few hit against them. The latest, and that loss to Katuitt.
On third is Farrow. On second is Oyama. On first is Micheletti. Hallback pops it into left. Getting a beat on it is Turley. The wind taking its toll, but he makes the catch. Causey gets out of a bases-loaded jam. 3 walks in the inning. Jake Casey scores on the pass ball, and the Firebirds tie the game up as we go to the 4th.
What Cape home design will you dream up? For over 16 years, Cape Dreams Building and Design has specialized in building custom homes for clients across Cape Cod. Our core values of honesty, integrity, and quality work are what separates us from other Cape builders and help us make your dreams of your next new home a reality. From new construction to additions and renovations, contact Cape Dreams today or visit our website at capedreamsbd.com.
Welcome back to the Birds Broadcast Network. Now, a lot of the times, the catcher is looked at to be the anchor of the team. They're the ones that are constantly looking to help a teammate out, be that constant voice, and also help their pitchers if they end up in a jam. And for Henry Hunter, he encapsulates what it means to be that anchor. all the time, players are saying that he really wants to know who they are off of the baseball field. And the coaches constantly say how they're so appreciative that he's always asking, what do I need to do to get better? What do you need help with? That is what it means to be an Orleans Firebird. And that's what Kelly Nicholson respects and demands from his team. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Sammy. We head to the top of the fourth and a new arm on the mound for the Firebirds. It's Chase Loomis out of Texas.
Yes, hopefully Loomis and Henry Hunter have had some time to get to know each other, like Sammy was talking about there. Loomis, a recent addition to the team, made his debut on Sunday. If we're giving birthday shout-outs today, I didn't do it then, but shout-out to my dad, June 25th. Max Fesky celebrating his birthday today. Loomis only got through a third of an inning in the 5-4 win at YD. Gave up 2 earned runs, and similar to what we saw last inning from A.J. Causey, a lot of it was self-inflicted. No hits for the Red Sox, but 3 walks. Just a little picky. Didn't attack the zone. Didn't throw a lot of competitive pitches. Loomis has to trust his stuff, trust his catcher, trust his defense, and good things will happen.
He'll face 3, 4, 5 in the Falmouth order. Kyle DeBarge struck out in the first inning. The lefty Loomis didn't throw a lot this year at Texas. And throw the first pitch ball to DeBarge. As Ian said, came in the YD game in that 7th inning. DeBarge with a perfect bunt down the third base line. No chance for Penny. You couldn't put that one in a better place if you were Kyle DeBarge, if you picked the ball up and put it there. A leadoff single in the 4th.
DeBarge has had a lot of opportunities this summer. 9 for 35 headed into today. One of the more consistent bats in the lineup for Falmouth, and a crafty player, a good player in the Sun Belt who knows what his team needs at the exact right time.
Loomis fires a first pitch off-speed strike to McGregor. He flew it to center in the first. Jay Casey had some trouble with it. Spikerman came around to score for the first run and only run for Falmouth. Nasty curveball from Loomis. Gets the swing and miss.
Loomis, his first year full-time in summer ball. It's here on the Cape.
He'll check in on DeBarge.
You mentioned he didn't pitch a lot at Texas this past spring. He only got 15 1/3 innings. He hadn't pitched before that. He's a senior who had never pitched at Texas because of injuries and, one reason or another.
Getting an opportunity. McGregor into right with a base hit. DeBarge with speed. Circles second. He'll head right back to the base. 2 base runners to lead off the 4th on back-to-back hits by Falmouth.
Loomis still trying to figure out what's going to work for him this summer on the Cape. Did not give up a single hit in that first outing on Sunday. Still gave up 2 earned. And now contact is being made. So you're going to have to adjust and figure out with the heart of the order for Falmouth due up. How do I get out of this?
Walker Yannick is the batter, the catcher for Falmouth. First pitch ball from Loomis. It was walks last time for Loomis. That put him in a hole he couldn't dig himself out of. Singles this time. Looking for the first out of the inning. Yannick's going to lay down a bunt. It rolls foul.
Penny playing close to the infield grass on third. He'll probably play a little closer now. Same thing could be said for Hyde over at first. Loomis did not allow a lot of traffic on the base paths with the Longhorns in the spring. A whip under 1.2. Albeit a smaller sample size, but usually did not get into these issues quite often.
Will be interesting with the lefty Loomis if there's a bunt toward third and he thinks he can get the runner at third. DeBarge takes off for third. He's going to get there with no throw. The throw goes to second in time. Hunter to Oyama to cut down McGregor.
Henry Hunter living up to the hype that Sammy was speaking about to start the inning. Now his bat's gotten a bit cold. He's trying to heat it back up, but he's been very solid behind the dish. That first inning blip was more on Truitt and less on him. You can provide that, that's huge.
1-2, 1 out, runner on third is DeBarge. The pitch is a ground ball to Farrow. He's going to come home with it. Throw is low. It gets away from Hunter. Yannick will reach. Farrow rushed the throw. It was low. DeBarge scores. Falmouth takes a 2-1 lead.
Farrow was on that thing. Had the opportunity to make the throw, could not. It's been a wonky game for Orleans defensively. It's been up and down defense all season. Really good as of late. You had an opportunity there, and you missed it to get the runner out at home after a great throw down at second.
Loomis fires inside to Redfield. Ian, it seemed like Farrow, who got the ground ball, fielded it cleanly, thought that he had to be quicker than he really needed to be. I know Hunter had to still apply the tag, but DeBarge was coming home, and he had more time than he thought Farrow did, and now a hit by pitch. Redfield gets hit in the top of his back. First and second again for Falmouth.
Not what you want to see because this is a Falmouth team that struggled to score runs, right? And you're gifting them some runs right now. That's now 2 errors on the game for Orleans, and both have directly led to scores, whether it was the first with the Casey drop in center and now with Farrow at short. 1 hit for you guys, 3 for Falmouth, but hits don't necessarily translate to runs. Falmouth's gotten lucky tonight, and they've just let the game come to them. And that's what you should do in a slump. Embrace it.
Turley the batter, first and second with 1 out. Falmouth with the 2-1 lead. It gets away from Hunter. A wild pitch. Runners move up to second and third. Loomis lost control of that one. Turley get out of the way, but second and third with 1 out now for Falmouth. It hasn't been pretty. It hasn't been what Falmouth has drawn up, but it's been working. Hit by pitches, errors, walks, stolen bases. When you're not hitting the ball hard, as it's going to be now an intentional walk to Turley, bringing up Gavin Keelan.
Trying to get a force at every base.
Yes. You get the force at home, and then a double play up the middle against Loomis, who gets a lot of ground balls. The lefty Keelan, I should say, is the batter. Takes a first pitch strike from Loomis. First time this year that the Firebirds have intentionally walked somebody.
Last time we were talking about that, it was less on situation and more on who was at the plate. Hunter Hines, YD.
A 1 popped up, foul territory near the dugout of Falmouth. Penny is over, and he runs out of room.
He gave it a great chase. You could hear him clanking against the netting and left. Could not make the play. You got to give Kelly Nicholson credit, a former pitching coach here in Orleans and obviously a former collegiate pitcher at Loyola Marymount. He trusts his guys to get it done. He's only going to intentionally walk somebody if it makes sense given the situation. With 1 out and 2 on, it makes sense, not because he doesn't believe Loomis can get it done even with the jam.
Keelan, ground ball to second. Let's see if they can turn it. Oyama to Farrow on the first. It gets away. 1 run in, 2 runs in. The ball gets into the dugout. The runner is going to go to second. Farrow's throw went into the Orleans dugout out of play. 2 more runs come in, 4-1 Falmouth.
Mistakes when they start, they usually tend to continue to come. It's a mental game, right? You try to wipe it out of your memory. You try to move on to the next pitch, the next play to make. But that's now the second time in this inning that Farrow has misfired.
Here's a bunt right in front of home plate. Loomis will field it, will throw it in time. Out number 3 after the force out at second. Now that bunt that goes for the third. But a sloppy inning for Orleans allows 3 runs to score for Falmouth. as we head to the bottom of the fourth. Jack Penny is the batter after a 3-run top of the fourth for Falmouth. And it kind of went back and forth. In the third inning, Orleans had every chance to pad on and score more than one. They couldn't. Falmouth gets their opportunities, and they put on 3.
They do. And, not to discredit the performance of the Commodores so far. 4-1 lead's a 4-1 lead. But they've just stayed patient. And I said it once, I'll say it again, they've let the game come to them. They're not taking unnecessary swings. They're not expanding the strike zone. Evan Truitt, a solid 3 innings on the mound to start the game. And then Chase Loomis was finding the zone, but the bats were finding the ball. And when you get a few guys on base to start the inning, and if you're able to capitalize by not having dumb at-bats, letting Loomis, either make the mistake or letting the defense make the mistake for you, that's going to happen.
A sloppy top of the fourth. 2 errors for Orleans in that one. 3 errors now on the game after an error in the top of the first. Ian, we were talking about it before the game. During this little win-loss, win-win streak for Orleans, 5 of their last 7, the defense has been really good.
It has been. And you look at the lineup tonight defensively, and it's a lot of usual suspects that are out there. The only major change has been Andy Blake in left. He's usually not in the outfield for Orleans.
Penny up 2-0 on the count with Causey, who now pitches with a 3-run lead. That was pitch number 51 from the righty.
And Casey also made that error in the first inning, which scored the first run of the game.
Penny swinging. Chopper to first. Fielding it and touching first is McGregor. 3 pitches, 1 out for Causey in the bottom of the fourth.
It makes you think, Austin Over, and I know he made a few errors in center to start the season, but he's an all Pac-12 defensive team guy. And those guys don't come around very often. So I think Casey and King are both great. They have great athleticism out in center field, but it's a windy night. I think that also plays into this thing as well. It's been tough to play the ball in the air.
Hyde takes a first pitch strike, grounded into a double play in the second. There's been opportunities in the second and the third for the Firebirds. They got 1 run on a wild pitch. Hyde up the middle. Bazana diving, caught up in his glove. The throw to first, not in time. Good effort from Bazana. Hyde's speed just too much, and he'll reach with 1 out.
Well, Bazana, talking about all Pac-12 defensive team players, he was another one. The rising junior out of Oregon State. Laid out. He'll feel that one in the morning. From his knees through that to first. Hyde not with great speed, but just enough to get over there. Much needed hit for him.
2 ground balls so far this inning for the Firebirds. 1 is successful. Jake Casey, the 3rd batter in the inning, up 2-0 on the count. It seems like Causey is almost getting himself into trouble, continuously getting behind in counts, and also if he can leave a ball up with his velocity, that doesn't really scare a lot of these hitters that are used to hitting 95. Maybe drive one out of here.
Certainly not going to scare Jake Casey. He knows what it takes to hit a home run against the Commodores. His last home run 8 days ago, the winning run of the game in the top of the 9th. He'll mash anything if you leave it up in the zone.
3-0 is a strike. Causey is a perfectionist at the bottom of the strike zone. He's looking to get ground balls. Maybe another double play in order. Casey into the dugout. Almost hitting some of the Orleans coaching staff. Coach Banfield had to get out of the way. Kelly Nicholson didn't move.
Yeah, Kelly Nicholson's been here 18 years. He knows his dugout pretty well. Jay Banfield's been here 4 years. Both of them players back in the day.
Full count to Casey. Swing and a miss. Causey battles back from down 3-0 in the count. Comes back with 3 straight strikes to get Casey.
It's an uphill battle anytime you get yourself behind an account, especially 3-0. But Causey's stuff with the off speed just gets so much swing and miss. I mean, from the sidearm delivery to a pitch that, almost operates as a screwball with the changeup. That's why he's going to Tennessee.
First pitch to Hunter is inside. Hyde at first after infield single.
Causey didn't have his best stuff towards the tail end of the season with Jacksonville State. He had over a 5 ERA on the year. He's trying to regain his midseason form. He's a Friday night starter for them. He had a 3.3 ERA before his final few starts of the season. But he's elite when he's at his best.
Falling behind another count, 2-0. Now 3-0. Low again. Playing in dangerous water is Causey. Hyde on first, Hunter the batter. And he'll walk on 4 pitches. Another walk for Causey. Make that walk number 4 for him.
Walk number 4 for him tonight. And then also had a walk in that first start against Bourne. He's a high strikeout guy in college. Has not been a high strikeout guy on the Cape. It's because he can't find the zone. He's not getting those calls that you were talking about in the bottom third of the zone right now.
Drew Farreau, the game-tying run here in the bottom of the 4th. Defensively, had a tough top of the 4th, looking for some revenge. Pops it to third base, but a great play by DeBarge and throws it over to first. Oh, man. Stepping back, the ball found his glove and makes a good throw over to first to rob Farreau of maybe an RBI single. The Firebirds leave 2 runners on in the bottom of the 4th. When we come back here on the Birds Broadcast Network.
What Cape Home Design will you? For over 16 years, Cape Dreams Building and Design has specialized in building custom homes for clients across Cape Cod. Our core values of honesty, integrity, and quality work are what separates us from other Cape builders and help us make your dreams of your next new home a reality. From new construction to additions and renovations, contact Cape Dreams today or visit our website at capedreamsbd.com.
Top of the 5th on a windy night from Eldredge Park. Orleans in search of its 3rd home win of the season and first in just under a week. Ian Nicholas, Dylan Pescatore on the call here on the Birds Broadcast Network. Another inning, another new pitcher for the Birds. 3 from Evan Truitt to start this game. A 1-run ball. Jace Loomis gives up 3 runs last inning, albeit a few errors from Drew Farreau, not helping the cause. And actually some defensive changes for Orleans, as Andy Blake is now taken over at short after Drew Farreau made 2 errors last inning right there at short.
So Blake back at short at his natural position. And to the mound is Nate Ward, who's had 2 straight outings that haven't been his best. Against Brewster, a 2-run home run to James Tibbs on the slider. And then last time out, he came into a really tough situation. It was bases loaded, 1 out of a tied 0-0 game against Cotuit, the top team in the West. 3 pitches in, and a slider is taken deep for a grand slam by Ryan Galaney. Ward now has a clean inning to work with and looks for some revenge.
So Ward, the 6'8", 250-pound right-handed pitcher, trying to rebound. He's given up an earned run in each of his last 2 appearances, 3 in his last 1 2/3 innings pitched. The rising senior from Grand Canyon. Daniel Avidia, one of his collegiate teammates on this Firebirds roster. He has been fantastic as the Birds ace. Now Ward faces the best of the Falmouth order. 1, 2, 3 in the top of the 5th for Jeff Trundy's crew. It starts with the switch-hitting center fielder from Oklahoma, John Spikerman, who will bat lefty against the righty Ward. Spikerman, an infield single and a run scored in the first, struck out swinging in the third. Both times he faced Evan Truitt. He shows bunt and gets plunked, but he never pulled it back. It was a home plate umpire who got the brunt of that, as he's going to be checked in on. It's Federico de Jesus behind the plate, who's in some pain, obviously, because that's going to sting. Kelly Nicholson and Jeff Trundy go over to him as well. Spikerman spun out of a way so quickly it almost seemed like he was dancing after he had gotten a piece of it, but a bit of a roar from de Jesus as he's still feeling it. Hopefully he's all right, being checked in on by the Orleans training staff as well.
Never want to see this happen. Of course, Ward firing his fastball upwards of 90 miles per hour. No matter if you have protection gear on or not, that thing hurts.
Both Trundy and Nicholson, two managers who have seen a lot here on the Cape, probably know de Jesus well. Making sure he's all right. Two of the best managers in the game checking in after the first pitch from Nate Ward ends up plunking the home plate umpire, Federico de Jesus. First base coach Joey Cooper also checking in there as well. Henry Hunter, Spikerman, and both infield umpires, Jonathan Lamadia at first, Alan Labadardi at third. But we're going to return to play here. Henry Hunter, he's still checking in on de Jesus. Probably, maybe not apologizing, but hoping he could have protected him a little bit better. Anyways, after all that, it's 1-0 to Spikerman, and the game resumes. De Jesus is okay behind the dish. Chopped foul, and this time it hits Spikerman. I was wrong the first time around. And now he's going to take a second.
This is a rough at-bat for everybody involved. While we have some time, defensive alignment for Orleans has been changed. Like Ian said, Andy Blake to short. Eddie Micheletti moves from right to left field, and Fenn McTrimble will enter the game in right field.
And he'll take over for Drew Farreau, who is batting 9th in the Orleans order. Farreau ends the day 0 for 1 from the plate with a ground out and a walk. A ball and a strike. It's been a long 2 pitches for Nate Ward out on the mound. He deals. And that big curve lands high in the zone for ball 2.
The breaking ball has been the kryptonite for Nathan Ward right now. Back-to-back outings where it's been taken out of the park.
The 2-1 pitch. Looks like it could leave the park, but it's going to drop in the center field. Ahead of a track, Jake Casey gloves it. 1 away. Spikerman retired for the 2nd time in a row. You know, it's funny. Nate Ward, a fantastic junior season at Grand Canyon, transferring from Yavapai Community College, which is also in Arizona. He only gave up 2 earned runs in 25 innings pitched. Both of them were off home runs. Trying to keep things inside the park of Eldredge tonight. Now facing Travis Bizana, who's 0 for 2 with a couple flyouts to center field. 0-1.
Bizana was a beast in the Pac-12 this year and really has a great story as well.
He does. Originally hails from Australia, Sydney, as he fouls that pitch back 0-2. He actually got an invite to play on the Cape last summer, but instead used the opportunity to spend 10 weeks fine-tuning his stuff in Seattle with Driveline, trying to perfect his swing. And certainly it worked out for him. Hit .374 with Oregon State in the spring. But he's popped up, this one behind the dish and in play. Henry Hunter, seems like he has it, and he does. Circled around home plate and secures the foul out. Nate Ward took him a while to work through Spikerman due to a couple of stoppages. But there, Henry Hunter ends at it back quickly and has another chat with Federico De Jesus. Hunter not only getting to know his pitchers really well, like Sammy talked about earlier in the game, but getting to know the umpires behind him too.
Always a good relationship between catchers and umpires. You want to be on the umpire good side if you're the catcher. Maybe get a few extra calls.
Ground ball to short. The new man there is Andy Blake, and there's a good result. Kyle DeBarge goes down off one pitch, and Nate Ward settles in after one inning out of a bullpen to keep it a 3-run ball game, 4-1. Falmouth still in control. Orleans with an opportunity to clap back when we come back on the Birds Broadcast Network in the bottom of the 5th. Bottom of the 5th on the Birds Broadcast Network. Thanks so much for joining us on a windy 70-degree evening from Eldredge Park. Orleans in the middle of the East Division standings trying to pick up a win over the Falmouth Commodores, who have just one win in their last 9. New pitcher getting hot for Falmouth right now. It's Parker Coyle, the 6'3" left-handed hurler out of Arkansas. Up and down first 4 innings, Dylan, for the starter tonight, A.J. Causey, the Tennessee transfer, but in the end, he only gives up 1 run through 4.
The results look good. How he got there, maybe not as much. 4 walks for Causey. Continuously put traffic on the base paths. Sadly, the Orleans Firebirds couldn't make him pay. But now with a new arm out there, someone who they're familiar with as well.
He is. Coyle, 8 days ago, in the 5-4 loss to Orleans, made his Cape debut as Joe Oyama takes a ball and gets ahead 1-0. Top of the order due up for the Birds. Coyle pitched 3 1/3 out of a bullpen and was handed the loss, but he did no losing on the mound. He didn't give up a run. Oyama skies one the opposite way to left. Backing up at the track, it's Turley. He makes the play. 1 away. He didn't give up a run through 3 1/3 versus the Firebirds in his Cape debut. 2 hits allowed, 4 strikeouts, 1 walk. But Coyle, unfortunately, at Katuitt on the 23rd in a 12-1 loss, got lit up. Gave up 10 hits, only recorded 8 outs, and allowed 4 earned runs. Andy Blake takes the ball, gets ahead 1-0.
If you remember, Ian, it was the 7th inning of that game against Falmouth where Orleans took the lead at the time 4-3. And the reason why he's given up 2 runs.
There's a really good hit ball pulled to the left from Andy Blake. Gets through the 5-6 hole. And Andy Blake continues to rake with a 1-out single in the bottom of the 5th.
Great hit by Blake. Going back to Coyle. Gave up those 2 runs, and in my opinion, they should have been earned because he's the one who made the error. He threw a pickoff attempt into, which the foul territory here isn't even comparable to Gov Filler Field, and allowed Eddie King to go all the way to 3rd.
Eddie Micheletti Jr. with a fly ball to left center, snatched by Spikerman in front of Turley. 2 ways, Blake still on first, and Coyle trying to put behind not only that error/non-error he committed against Orleans, but also a tough outing his last go-around against Katuitt, and he's doing a good job so far. He now faces Matt Hallback. Hallback 1 for 2. Goes behind 0-1 in a count. He singled in the 2nd, but was left stranded. Forced out at 2nd. On a fielder's choice that Jack Penny reached on. Ball and a strike. Flew out to center in the 3rd.
I don't know how you feel about it, Ian, but if a pitcher makes an error and the runner comes across, it's not earned, but I feel it should be earned. He's the one who made the error.
I got to agree with you on that one. I usually default to you with the knowledge department. You're the brain. I'm not the brawn. I'm nothing. Sure. I'll take that if you give it to me. Blake takes his lead off first with 2 out. Hallback, foul ball, 2-2. Hallback, somebody who's done a lot of winning in his collegiate career, just 2 years in. Helped UC San Diego, win the Big West, its first ever Big West championship. Late last month. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Wild pitch. Gets away from Walker Yannick. Andy Blake revs around second and stays there. Full count to Hallback.
Another opportunity for the Firebirds with a runner in scoring position to get the big hit.
Hallback's had a lot of big hits early on in his Firebirds career. Only 5 games in, 4 hits, 2 of them extra base hits, 3 runs batted in. Nearly 50 RBIs during his sophomore season with UC San Diego. His parents in town. Vitriton from the San Francisco Bay Area trying to show out not only in front of a packed house, but in front of the family. Blake on second. Full count pitch from Boyle. On the ground towards short. Charging and throwing the first. On a hop, it misses the glove of McGregor. Hallback takes off for second. Blake touches home plate, and the Birds slash into the lead for Falmouth. Still down 4-2. But Hallback able to reach. The throw from Gavin Keelan a little low into the left of Tyler McGregor, making his Cape debut at first. Couldn't keep it in front of him. Drifted into foul territory on the right side of the field. Allowed Hallback to take an extra bag. That goes down as an error in the books. First of the game for the Commodores.
It was a tough play for Keelan. Had to take it on the backhand. And this game's just been a sloppy one. What can you say? And now 3 errors for the Firebirds, 1 error for Falmouth on that throw by Keelan. Take it as ever, you can get it.
So officially an E6 on the Louisville shortstop. Coyle deals to Jack Penny. Blocked up in the dirt by Yannick. Ball and a strike to the lefty out of Notre Dame. And Hallback in scoring position.
Tying run at the plate, Penny. He knows how to tie a game, I'll tell you that.
Game-tying home run in the top of the 8th inning on Sunday, and a massive upset of YD on the road. The 1-1 pitch, fouled. Penny had one of his best games of the season yesterday in the 3-2 win against Brewster. Drove in 2 of the runs for Orleans with a 2-hit performance. You said earlier in the game you think he's the hottest bat in the Firebirds lineup, trying to prove you right here. Behind in the count, and Hallback on second. Jammed up. There's a ball. Even count.
Penny's a guy who doesn't do too much when he gets up to the plate. He's going to swing at strikes. He's good plate discipline, and it's a big hole between McGregor and Bazana at first and third for him to put a ball there and see if Hallback can come around.
He swings at it, drives it into the outfield. It's down for a hit. Hallback is held up at third. Penny stays at first. A 2-out single for Penny, who now has a hit in 7 of his last 8 games for Orleans. 5th hit of the game for the Firebirds. Can the 2-out magic continue with a pinch hitter? Johnny Olmstead, the rising 5th year from USC, comes to the plate. The righty to face the lefty Coyle. Nicholson playing the matchup game.
Yes, he is. And I know everyone wanted a Hallback to be sent home, but it was the right play. Spikerman charged the ball very, very well and would have had Hallback dead to rights at home with a good throw. But Olmstead now up with the opportunity to even give the Firebirds the lead.
Olmstead pinch hitting for Jake Hyde. Takes a first pitch for a strike, 0-1. He'll replace him at first base as well. If Orleans knows anything about disasters from home plate over the last couple days, it's been a few runners who have been thrown out at third. So taking the safe approach, as there's a foul ball, 0-2, and keeping Hallback at third, because over the past couple days there's been a couple of bang-bang plays at the plate that haven't broken Orleans' way.
In back-to-back games. Olmstead came into the game late yesterday Struck out looking, but also doubled last time up in the 9th.
He's got power. Double-digit home runs with USC at the spring. Swings at the pitch high in the zone from Coyle, goes down swinging. Opportunities have been had for Orleans, who leaves 2 stranded after a strikeout from Johnny Olmstead, the pinch hitter. But they do get a run on the board. A lot of the runs today have been because of defensive miscues. The latest from Gavin Keelan at short. Matt Hallback reaches, gets to second, eventually gets to third. And also coming home, Andy Blake after a 1-out single. Still Falmouth in the lead, 4-2 after 6. We'll be back in just a few on the Birds Broadcast Network.
What Cape home design will you dream up? For over 16 years, Cape Dreams Building and Design has specialized in building custom homes for clients across Cape Cod. Our core values of honesty, integrity, and quality work are what separates us from other Cape builders and help us make your dreams of your next new home a reality. From new construction to additions and renovations, contact Cape Dreams today or visit our website at capedreamsbd.com.
Firebirds from Wisconsin, Milwaukee, number 26, Riley Fry.
Top of the 6 on the Birds Broadcast Network. Nate Ward with the scoreless frame in the 5th, but he does not return to the mound in the 6th. The Grand Canyon man out and in from Wisconsin, Milwaukee, the lefty Riley Fry, making his 6th appearance for the Firebirds this season, the most on the team for any pitcher. He faces 4, 5, and 6 in the order for the Doors. It starts with the first baseman, Tyler McGregor, 1 for 2, with a single in the 4th. Lefty on lefty. 2 of the next 3 in the order for the Doors are left-handed batters. 0-1.
That's the reasoning that Fry's coming in right now. Last 2 outings have been scoreless, have been hitless with 2 strikeouts for Fry.
The 0-1 pitch, low and away for a ball. McGregor, he knows one Firebird well. He plays for Northeastern. No Firebird does, but he transferred to the Huskies program after playing at Columbia alongside Andy Blake. Ground ball foul, 1-2. Had a great season with Northeastern. Hit over 330. The grad student did with 18 home runs, 54 runs driven in, and all CAA second team selection. The 1-2 pitch. Lays off it and works the count even.
Fry is what you call a lefty specialist. Working around the zone. Can fire inside as well to lefties, which is big.
The 2-2 popped up right center field. Fenwick Trimble makes the catch. His first put out since coming into the ball game when Orleans switched some things around defensively. An inning ago, Andy Blake started in left, moved to short. Eddie Micheletti switched from the right side of the outfield to the left. Fenwick Trimble off the bench with the putout, 1 away.
That one was hit a mile high, and clouds are starting to take over here. The sun is set for the most part, and now it's all about the lights.
Orleans with 6:30 start times, only because of the beautiful lights that illuminate the hill in Eldredge Park. A ball and no strikes to the catcher, Walker Yannick, who whiffs. 1-1. Yannick flew out in the first. Reached on a fielder's choice in the 4th. The 1-1 pitch, just outside. Ball 2.
Last 2 nights, the Firebirds have played at fields with no lights. Katuitt, of course, and then Brewster.
2-2. Now, I know your loyalty lies with this team, but you're a big fan of those early start times.
I am. I mean, you never want to be out too late. My bedtime, a very strict 11 at most times during the school year.
During the school year? It's summer, Dylan. It's summer ball. 2-2. Swung on and missed. First strikeout for Riley Fry. as he retires the first two batters he faces. And the base is still clear.
I wish my body clock had a school year in the summer. If I'm not to bed by 11, I'm asleep the next day. I might need another 5-hour energy.
You're not the 5-hour energy guy. That's me.
I don't want to take your bit. That's why I have to get to bed by 11.
Joe Redfield takes the pitch. 1-0. It's not a bit. It's a lifestyle. I never taken a 5-hour energy before last week, and now it's just become a part of me.
And thanks to our wonderful photographer, Margaret Dixon, for that.
Pitch on the inner half of the plate in an emphatic strike call from Federico de Jesus. Actually, ball 2. 2-0.
Check swing.
Check over to the umpire at third. That was the call. Won't really matter a whole lot because Andy Blake secures the put out at short and ends the inning 1-2-3 for Riley Fry. There's a reason why he's the most used option out of a bullpen. Not only a lefty specialist, but a guy who's just recording outs for the Firebirds. It stays a 2-run ball game in Falmouth's favor after 6. We'll be right back in the bottom of the 6 on the Birds Broadcast Network. Manager Kelly Nicholson continues to empty the bench in the bottom of his 6th inning. Orleans down 4-2. Not Jay Casey leading off. Instead, it's Eddie King Jr., the rising junior from Louisville, who takes a ball facing Parker Coyle back on the mound for his 2nd inning of work. The only bench player available for the Firebirds after 3 substitutions in this game already is Owen Carpellotti, the catcher, as Johnny Olmstead, Fenwick Trimble, and now Eddie King have come in mid-game. 2-0 pitch, fouled off.
King started last night's game in center. A walk, ground out, fly out over 3 with a walk for Eddie King last night.
And that was off the heels of his best game as a Firebird. And the 5-2 loss to Catuan on Monday. King went 2 for 4. His only multi-hit game on the Cape with a run scored and 2 stolen bases, his first 2 of the summer. Had to go back to the dugout, get a new bat. Those wood things, pretty fragile. Heading the count 2-1. Now 3-1.
The Firebirds can get King's speed on base. It really caused some problems.
The 3-1 pitch is cranked, but a foul. Somebody knows about that speed is Gavin Keelan, the shortstop, who is King's collegiate teammate at the U of L. The payoff from Coyle. King continues the battle. Coyle up to 25 pitches, 15 of them in for strikes. In his 3rd appearance of the summer and his 2nd against the Firebirds. King with a well-hit ball to left field, charging towards his right and making the play. Gavin Turley. King with some good wood. I'd probably say his best hit ball of the summer. But unfortunately, does not get them for a base hit.
That's baseball, right? You hit it hard, you hit it right at somebody. The next guy hits it soft and finds no man's land. An unlucky result for Eddie King, but his process and his swing is getting much better as the games go by.
Lefty on lefty, it's Henry Hunter, who gets ahead 1-0. It's been a process for Hunter as well. Started the summer 3 for 9 from the plate. Has cooled down as of late, 0 for 10 in his last 5 games. Try and get back to the player that he was last year with UAB, where he hit over 280 in his freshman season. 2 balls and a strike. The Atlanta native with a bit of a sophomore slump at Alabama Birmingham. He hit under 200. On the 2-1 pitch, he pops it up along the left field line. Few players giving it room, and the play not made. No. Henry Hunter, foul ball. It took a while to make that call. Hunter stayed put at second for a few moments. We don't have the best vantage point right along the left field line. Could not see how that thing actually dropped.
He was standing at second because he thought it actually dropped fair. The wind here is going crazy. We're seeing the flag in center field just blowing from right to left. Not easy on any fly ball tonight.
No, Gavin Turley, Gavin Keelan, Kyle DeBarge all over there. But hard to judge as it's already hard to catch those things. It becomes a little bit more difficult with the wind in full effect. So still 2-2 as Hunter steps back in. Coyle deals. This one fair. Too short. Keelan with the throw in time. 2 away for Parker Coyle in this inning. That's 3 in a row retired, dating back to the strikeout of Johnny Olmsted last frame.
He had some trouble in the 5th. It was single by Blake, reached on an error by the shortstop. Keelan was haulback, a single by Penny. But this inning, smooth sailing so far for Coyle.
Fenwick Trimble, his first at bat of the night for the right fielder who was replaced Eddie Micheletti after he slid over to left, who replaced Andy Blake, who replaced Drew Farrow at short. 0-1, chopper to second. Brazano all over it, inning over. Parker Coyle, he likes pitching against the Firebirds. 1-2-3 in the bottom of the 6th inning. It stays a 4-2 ball game from Eldredge. We'll be back at 7 on the Birds Broadcast Network.
Welcome back to the Birds Broadcast Network. The main point of emphasis right now in the dugout is making sure they take one pitch at a time. It's so easy to get ahead of yourselves and try thinking about the pressure of needing to make the play, but instead if you focus on one pitch at a time, you're able to eliminate all of the different errors that could possibly happen and instead play in the moment. We'll see if that happens right now for the Firebirds and if they're able to get back into this game. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Sammy. Top of the 7th from Eldredge Park. Offense has been hard to come by for both teams. Both squads with multiple runs. Only 8 combined hits in the game. 4 errors from the 2 teams combined have certainly helped in the run scoring department. New pitcher out of a bullpen. First it was Nate Ward, Riley Fry, and now, after Chase Loomis as well in the 4th inning, it's Grayson Carter, the rising junior from Vanderbilt, Dylan, who has made a couple appearances and looked really good.
Yeah, not only has looked really good, his velocity is top of the top. Earned, according to TrackMan, 3 of the top 4 velocities in the Cape Cod Baseball League. He throws hard. 98, 99 at the top of the zone from Carter with the fastball. He'll face the bottom of the Falmouth order, looking to keep this a 2-run game.
7 and 8, 9 due up for Falmouth's crew. Starts with Gavin Turley, one of the 2 Oregon State Ducks in the order tonight for Jeff Trundy and company. The Falmouth team trying to get back in things in the West Division. 3-10-2 through 15 games. Only 1 win in their last 9. It's not going to be easy against Grayson Carter, who's not given up a run in 2 appearances as a Firebird this summer.
Carter throws a lot of heat from the right side, and he throws strikes when he's at his best.
There's a strike on a foul ball. Turley goes behind 0-1.
When he struggles, it's not with hits, it's not with home runs, it's with walks.
Did walk 28 guys compared to just 23 strikeouts during his sophomore season with Vanderbilt in the spring, but the ERA sat just around 4 as Vandy's midweek starter. Ball and a strike. Not the only Commodore pitching for the Birds this summer. Chase Leboki has made a couple appearances for the Firebirds as well, his latest yesterday out of a bullpen. The 1-1 missed. Big swing up in the zone. There's that heat. Turley with that. He goes behind 1-2.
There's a thought from a lot of hitters that if it's coming in hard, you have to swing hard. Actually, the opposite. Let the velocity from Carter take your swing.
Well, there's a velocity from Carter. High and away. Turley, a whiff and a strikeout. 1 up, 1 down for the 6'5", 250-pound right-handed hurler.
And I say that because you see these big swings from Turley, but in all reality, the faster that it comes in, the phrase goes, the faster it's going to go out.
Carter faces the lefty Gavin Keelan, who launches one out to center field and down for a hit. 4th hit of a night for Falmouth, trying to add on to the score 4-2 Commodores. And Keelan's first knock.
First knock for him. First knock against Grayson Carter this season.
Carter, a 4.5 ERA across 2 seasons with Vandy, a whip at 1.71. So he has navigated through traffic in the past, working on control with that fastball that sits in the high 90s. Faces the bottom man of the order in Tab Tracy. 1-0. Tracy's put the ball in play a couple times and has grounded out in both of his plate appearances in the 3rd and 4th. There's that high velo up in the zone. Tracy lays off it. Gets ahead in the count. 2 balls, no strikes.
The Firebirds bullpen, which has usually been really good this season, has to keep it at a 2-run game. A lot of opportunities for the offense. They've had a chance to get back in it.
Keelan on his horse towards second. Foul ball off to the left side of play from Tracy. And Keelan's going to trot back. Keelan has great speed. A lot of great tools as well. Somebody who was drafted in the 13th round by the Boston Red Sox out of high school last year. Grew up in the Chicago area. Slides in the home plate, or slides in the first, at first.
Probably more Cubs than Red Sox then, I'm thinking. Depends on what side of Chicago he was born on or lived in.
Maybe you could ask his Louisville teammate, Eddie Kane. Keelan now takes off. Henry Hunter with a throw. It's a bit off the mark to the right. And there's the speed of Keelan on full display. Sliding in for a stolen bag. 3 balls and a strike to Tab Tracy. A chance for Falmouth to add on to the lead, which was sliced by a run by Orleans last inning. Chops this one right into the glove of Carter, who heads over to first. Now looking for the double play. Olmstead bounces it to Penny. He kept it in front of him, but the throw pulled him off the bag, and Keelan has worked his way around the bases. 2-way.
First of all, what a great play by Carter to field his position. But also, Penny with a run-saving play right there. If he doesn't keep his glove down, that run comes home, and Falmouth takes a 3-run lead. Jack Penny just saved a run.
Olmsted took a risk. He's in the game after pinch hitting for Jake Hyde at first. And Penny was able to put the hot corner and keep that in front of him. Back to the top of the order with John Spikerman. 1 for 3 with a single and a run score back in the first. Also a strikeout in the third. Carter, an out away from his third scoreless inning of the summer. And there's a strike. 0-2.
Continuously just firing fastballs into the zone. He's not fooling around.
Carter, who spent some time last summer in the NECBL, looking comfortable out here in the Cape Cod Baseball League. The 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. 3-pitch strikeout of Spikerman. Runner stranded in scoring position. Gavin Keelan for the Commodores. The bullpen, a lot of different arms. Very similar results over the last 3 innings. Stays a 2-run ball game as we stretch from Eldredge and go to the bottom of the 7th on the Birds Broadcast Network.
What Cape home design will you dream up? For over 16 years, Cape Dreams Building and Design has specialized in building custom homes for clients across Cape Cod. Our core values of honesty, integrity, and quality work are what separates us from other Cape builders and help us make your dreams of your next new home a reality. From new construction to additions and renovations, contact Cape Dreams today or visit our website at capedreamsbd.com.
Bottom of the 7th here on the Birds Broadcast Network. Thanks so much for joining us. Ian Nicholas, Dylan Pescatore, and Sammy Miller on the call in a game that favors Falmouth 4-2 over Orleans. New pitcher in the game, Parker Coyle, done after 2 frames on the mound, and the Arkansas Razorback is replaced by a member of the NC State Wolfpack, Rio Britton. But what did you think of Coyle in his second appearance this summer against Orleans?
I think he came in the 5th and had to kind of work his way around some jams and defensive mishaps by Falmouth. 1-run scoring, but then was really good in the 6th. 1-2-3 against the bottom of the order for the Firebirds, who now go back to the top.
Top of the order, Joe Oyama, Andy Blake, Eddie Micheletti Jr. For an offense that's out-hit Falmouth today, 5-4, but only owns half as many runs. The new pitcher is Rio Britton, the lefty from NC State. Starts out with the righty and A.J. Causey, and Jeff Trundy has now turned to back-to-back lefties. Orleans, a lefty-heavy lineup before all the substitutions, but still Oyama, Micheletti, Jack Penny, Henry Hunter. Lefties that remain in the order even after 3 different mid-game substitutions. Oyama trying to extend a 10-game on-base streak. He only got 1 at-bat in his first game as a Firebird, went 0 for 1 in a game that lasted just 5 innings against Wareham on the road. A 5-2 loss for the Birds. Ever since, though, he has failed to not reach safely in a game. And that's why he leads the league in batting average, at least he did heading into tonight. Shows bunt and takes a strike. 0-1 to Britton, making his 3rd appearance on the summer. For NC State, he's pitched exactly 3 innings in both of his appearances for Falmouth. So he can give you some length out of a bullpen. Oyama puts it in play. Chop towards second. Brazana to first. Oyama doesn't beat it out. 2 pitches, Oyama down for the 4th time tonight.
Andy Blake now the hitter. Single last time up as the Firebirds offense. It's getting late here and they need 2.
Britton trying to bounce back from a performance against Bourne on the road on the 22nd, in which he allowed 2 earned in 3 innings, off 3 hits and 2 walks. He faces Andy Blake and goes behind 0-1. As you mentioned, he singled his last time up in the 5th which was followed by a backwards K in the first and a fly out to right in the third. A little misty. Rain has been on and off all day from Orleans. Wind continues to whip right to left and all over the place. This Cape Cod weather has been interesting, to say the least, over the first few weeks of the season. 0-2, swinging and missing. Actually fouled it off. 1-2 the count.
Can never get a day when we're not asking Ian, is it raining today or are we going to play?
Well, we're definitely not playing tomorrow. An off day for Orleans. As the 1-2 is launched to left, it's deja vu for Andy Blake. His second hit of the game, both of them on frozen ropes to left field. Blake with another great performance, and there's a reason why he's moved up to the 2-hole in this lineup.
Gives an opportunity for the most powerful hitter in this lineup to maybe tie this game, in Eddie Micheletti.
Micheletti, the team leader in runs batted in, headed into tonight's game with 8. And he puts the ball in play and chops it towards the middle of the infield, throwing across his body. An unbelievable play from Brazana. Blake moves to second. But Eddie Micheletti put the ball in a good spot. And Travis Brazana, the all Pac-12 defensive star, makes the great play.
On the backhand, he realized he couldn't get the out at second. Brazana throws it across his body and somehow gets it to McGregor, who has the long stretch.
Blake parked at second. Here's Matt Hallback. First pitch swinging. Straight into the glove. And a 5-3 put out to end the inning. Kyle DeBarge. Tyler McGregor. Andy Blake is doing everything he can to ignite an Orleans offense that's been quiet tonight with 2 hits, but he has not scored. And it stays 4-2. Firebirds down after 7. We go to the top of the 8th on the Birds Broadcast Network. Another inning, another different reliever for Kelly Nicholson's team. It's Connor Eaton, the rising junior from George Mason, who takes over after Grayson Carter out of Vanderbilt delivered a scoreless frame in the top of the 7th. This is not the first time we've seen Kelly Nicholson go to his bullpen continuously throughout a game, Dylan. On Sunday against YD, it was the same thing.
Yes, and another guy who pitched against that YD Red Sox team in the 5-4 win with Connor Eaton, and he was really, really good. An inning and a third, a walk, and a strikeout in the later innings of that one. The only one of his 4 outings that he really could look back on and maybe say I could have done a little bit better was June 19th against YD here at home. 2 innings with 2 runs. But other than that, it's been scoreless and it's been hitless. So an interesting 3 out of 4 hitless outings from Connor Eaton.
Eaton has not given up a hit in his last 3 1/3, nor has he given up a run, with 6 strikeouts against 3 walks in Orleans wins against YD on the road Sunday and Brewster here at home, the last home game for Orleans last Thursday. 2, 3, and 4 due up for Falmouth. Showing bunt at a pitch that lands over his head is Travis Bazzana. He never pulled back the bat. He goes behind. Don't know what's going on around the league.
Well, Cotuit won tonight, and it was not easy. 7-5 over Brewster. Good win for the Firebirds when we're thinking about their perspective. 8-1 Bourne over Chatham. They are on some type of heater right now, those Braves are, led by Derek Bender. Bottom 7, YD, 5-4 over Wareham in a close game over at Spillane Field.
Bazzana, opposite way, dropping in a gap for a hit. He's showing the speed, but he stumbles halfway on his way to second and darts back to first with a leadoff single.
And then the last game is Harwich, 3-2 over Hyannis, top 7. A lot of close games going in to the later innings, including right here. And Bazzana gets Falmouth going here in the 8th.
Bazzana needed that one. Now 2 for 16 here with Falmouth after a season in which he batted .374 for Oregon State. The Australian on board. He's followed up by Kyle DeBarge, who fouls one the opposite way, 0-1. To the Louisiana Lafayette product. 5th hit of the night for Falmouth. 4 runs off 5 hits and an error. Orleans with 2 runs off 6 hits. They've committed 3 errors. Eaton. A little soft toss at first.
It has not been a very clean game, to say the least.
Not a great day weather-wise. Not a clean day. A lot of wind. 0-1 pitch, low and in, picking up his left foot, DeBarge. He's 1 for 3 tonight. Struck out in the first, reached on a bunt single in the 4th, grinded out to short an inning later. Bazzana hopping around on first. Pitch on the inner half for a ball. 2-1.
We've said it. Even with the leadoff runner on, Eaton and the rest of this pen have to do their jobs and keep this score where it's at.
Chopped fair over to Oyama. Steps on the bag, looking for 2. They get it! Joe Oyama leading the team in batting average, leading the league in batting average. He plays defense too. And 2 away with Oyama doing it all here in the top of the 8th.
It was in the perfect place for Oyama. All he had to do was catch it. He basically walked over the bag as he did so and then make a strong throw over to Hyde to get the speedy DeBarge. Eaton's going to thank him after the game. Oyama with great D.
A couple international players involved in that play. Oyama from Okinawa, Japan. And not DeBarge. DeBarge, a Louisiana native. But Bazzana from Australia. The international flair in the Cape League. No balls in a strike. To Tyler McGregor, who whiffs. Well-located pitch, low and away to the lefty. And quickly 0-2. Trying to get out of this inning clean. Miss on the outside, 1-2.
Eaton is really at his best when his slider is working to righties and especially lefties outside, but also has a lot of heat, 95, 96 with the fastball.
Where does he go here? On the 1-2, straight upstairs. McGregor wasn't getting any of it, 2-2.
So interesting. Connor Eaton, who came here June 13th against Chatham, was his first outing. Credits Jim Lawler to a lot of his work that he's done so far this season. He really said how Jim kind of forced him, and the phrase he kept responding and repeating was this: you can miss, but miss close. Maybe you can get a call here and there, but miss close. That's what he continued to say to me.
The payoff pitch to the infield and to the glove of Joe Oyama, who's responsible for all 3 outs in the top of the 8th. Connor Eaton's going to have to buy him something. Stays a 4-2 game. After 7.5, we go to the bottom of the 8th on the Birds Broadcast Network. Still a 2-run affair. Bottom of the 8th on the Birds Broadcast Network. It's been a 4-2 game for a while.
Leading off the Firebirds, the third baseman from Notre Dame, number 11, Jack Penny.
What Cape home design will you dream up? For over 16 years, Cape Dreams Building and Design has specialized in building custom homes for clients across Cape Cod. Our core values of honesty, integrity, and quality work are what separates us from other Cape builders and help us make your dreams of your next new home a reality. From new construction to additions and renovations, contact Cape Dreams today or visit our website at capedreamsbd.com.
Top of the ninth, and somebody who Firebirds fans have come to love comes to the mound in Sean Matson, the rising junior from Harvard. 2 saves and a win out of a bullpen this summer for Orleans. The bullpen's been excellent today. Dylan Matson trying to continue his excellent summer with 1 strong inning of relief here in the top of the ninth.
That's right. Last time out, big outing against YD, an inning and 2/3. He got the last 2 outs in the ninth of a tie game and then got the final 3 outs with the automatic runner on second, guarding a 1-run lead with 3 straight strikeouts against the Red Sox. That was 3 days ago on Sunday night. Matson, who's pitched 6 2/3 of hitless innings, only 1 walk as well. So 1 base runner, I should say, in 6 2/3 innings against Sean Matson.
And his first save of the summer came 8 days ago against Falmouth. Pitched in the bottom of the ninth. Got the final 3 outs of the game. Just a lot of weak contact.
Including a diving play.
Yes, he robbed John Spikerman of probably what would have been, at the very least, a sac bunt at what most could have been a bunt single. That popped up right in front of the mound, and Matson lunged for it and recorded the put out himself. Also retired Charlie Condon to end the game on a foul out. First pitch swinging, Joe Oyama's there. And he retires Walker Yannick, who goes down on 1 pitch, and Sean Matson continues to get outs.
Man, this has been a weird game. It's been hit the ball hard, right into the glove of a fielder, hit the ball soft, and you'll probably reach and score. Just baseball. That's baseball, baby.
It's been a lot of action at second base, too, whether it's Joe Oyama for Orleans or Travis Bazana for Falmouth. Oyama recording the double play by himself last inning. Connor Eaton on the mound. Fastball in the outer half. There's a strike to the right fielder, Joe Redfield, who lined out to left, was hit by a pitch in the 4th, and popped up too short in the 6th. That pitch gets by Owen Carpellotti, who is the new catcher in the game. And he actually gets punked by it. Redfield all good. He reaches with 1 out. Falmouth with an opportunity to add on. A rare miscue from Matson.
Yeah, his first time hitting a batter, or second time, I should say, hitting a batter this season.
So it's Gavin Turley, who holds up on a check swing, gets ahead 1-0. 0 for 9 to start his summer. Here with the Commodores, in search of just their 2nd win in the last 10 games. Been a tough start to the season. 2-0.
What's been working so well for Matson has been the fastball for strikes and the changeup that dives below the zone. He gets swings and misses on it, along with a slider.
The Philadelphia native deals the 2-0 pitch on the upper third for a strike to the Oregon native Turley. He's a really highly recruited player coming out of high school in Oregon. In fact, he's the highest rated prospect ever snagged by the Ducks out of high school.
The Ducks? Beavers. Oregon State.
Maybe I was trying to piss off the Oregon fans. We had a pitcher, Rio Britton, former Oregon pitcher.
A lot of fans.
I was keeping you on your toes. You never know.
Our demographics. Hopefully really good in Oregon.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. That's a really good pitch. Strikeout for Sean Matson. It's the 2nd out of the inning. Turley goes down swinging. 1 on, 2 out. Here's another Gavin of the Keelan variety. The shortstop comes up to the plate.
He's played a really good defense today, Keelan, especially on the backhand.
Runner goes. Carpellotti with the throw. It's off the line. Snagged by Andy Blake. Carp lost his positioning a little bit behind the dish, kind of lunged forward when he made that throw. And moving into scoring position is Redfield after he's plunked. No balls in a strike to Keelan. Pops one the opposite way. Eddie King and Eddie Micheletti over there. Micheletti doesn't have to move too far to record the final put out of the top of the ninth. Orleans needs at least 2 in the bottom of the frame for an offense that does have 6 hits on the game. Can the Birds avoid a loss to the Falmouth Commodores? You'll have to tune in just a few to find out. Orleans, ever since a 3-game win streak that started with a win against Falmouth last Tuesday, has interchanged wins and losses. Loss on Friday, off on Saturday. Win on Sunday, loss on Monday. Win yesterday at Brewster. If the trend continues, it would be a loss here tonight to Falmouth. In order to avoid a defeat, the Birds need to put up at least 2 runs here in the bottom of the ninth, and that would have to be off a new pitcher, making his 4th appearance on the summer for the Doors. Casey Hunt by way of Mississippi State.
And Hunt's been dominant, has fallen into a little bit of traps. 3 hits allowed in 2 of his 3 outings, which have gone, all of them, 2 innings or more. 1 run allowed last time out against Wareham in a 12-2 victory for Falmouth a week ago. So he hasn't pitched in over a week.
Hunt, a very talented right-handed pitcher. Just finished up his grad year with the Bulldogs. Was a 12th round draft pick of the Pittsburgh Pirates last year, but decided to go back to school and try to improve his draft stock. Owen Carpellotti, the lefty, comes up to the plate for his first time tonight. Was a defensive replacement for Henry Hunter. First pitch swinging, fair, down the first base line, racing towards the bag, getting the put out on only just 1 pitch is Tyler McGregor. And Casey Hunt continues to dominate.
I know you want to swing at the pitch, or they say in 1 at-bat you get 1 pitch that you can really square up and hit. But there's been a lot of at-bats from the Firebirds tonight that have been 1 or 2 pitch, maybe even 3 pitches. A lot of quick at-bats.
Here's Fenwick Trimble, his 2nd at-bat of the game, grounded out to short, his first go-around. Well, I don't know. This is not the first go-around for Casey Hunt here in Falmouth. 2021, after his sophomore season with the Bulldogs, he made 5 appearances and closed out 3 games for the Doors, had a 5.56 ERA and an 11 1/3 innings pitched. The 1-0 to Fenwick Trimble is absolutely annihilated to left. Fenwick Trimble makes it 4-3 Doors with a 1-out bomb in the bottom of the ninth.
You could tell that it was on its way. He got the fastball and got good wood on it. making it now a one-run game. Big swing for Fenwick. His first, or I should say, his second home run of the season. First one that has cleared the fence by a good margin.
First one that
Wink,
you
wink.
can definitively say was a home run.
If
Seventh
you know,
hit of the
you
night.
know.
If you know, you know. Joe Oyama back to the top of the order in a one-run game in the bottom of the ninth inning. Casey Hunt, swing and a miss. 0-2 to the UC Irvine product. 10 straight games that the Japanese native has reached safely, in danger of losing that streak tonight. The 0-1, very weakly hit to second, and gunning it over to first is Bizana, who has been a stalwart at second tonight, and Falmouth and out away from its second victory in the last 10 games. It all comes down to someone who does have 2 hits tonight, Andy Blake.
Yeah, and he's put good contact on both singles to left field. They've come in his last 2 at-bats, and if we're talking about power, we're talking about tying this game. Andy Blake's up there with the guy that I would want up if I was the Firebirds.
Breaking ball from Hunt, misses outside. 1-0. No home runs yet for Blake this summer. 22 in his career at Columbia. Ball and a strike over 3 years with the Lions. Heading into his grad year at Duke, but did not get that 2021 season rather, because of a COVID pandemic. The 1-1 pitch in, 4-2 looking. And after giving up the moonshot to Fenwick Trimble, Hunt settling in, a strike away from getting the Doors back on track. In search of win number 4 on the season, Hunt deals. There's a swing and a miss. Andy Blake strikes out. And in a back-and-forth affair, Falmouth comes up on top. 4-3 the final score. Casey Hunt got the final 3 outs. Was able to retire Owen Carpellotti, Joe Oyama, and Andy Blake easily. Sandwiched in between all of that, a solo shot for Fenwick Trimble. His second long ball of the year, not enough to spark a comeback for Orleans in a game, Dylan, that is going to be a frustrating one to swallow, given the fact that 3 errors would certainly hurt. But somebody who pitched really well, Sean Matson, top of the ninth, kept things scoreless, kept it close, and we'll send it to her now.
I'm now joined alongside Harvard pitcher Sean Matson. Sean, of course, not the outcome you guys wanted, but what was the emotion walking onto the mound knowing that you guys were down 4-2 in the ninth?
It was good. I knew I just had to hold it for the guys because obviously we showed with a run there in the ninth that we can have a late push and maybe pull these games out, but that was a hard-fought one, tough way to lose, but we'll be back tomorrow.
And once again, you come in at the ninth and you do your job. You had those outs that you provided. Well, how are you feeling on the mound and what pitches were working for you?
Really good today. Arm felt hot, so in the pen I kind of just took it easy and then let it out there. And changeup was on today. Slider felt good. Fastball's coming out, spotting up, so just felt good going out there.
It was definitely a bullpen day. We saw a lot of arms on the bump. So how proud are you of your teammates?
Super proud always. I mean, guys come out and, you never know if you're going to throw that day. You kind of have an idea, but you got to be prepared for anything. And everyone came out and they do their job every time. And the pitching staff's looking great as always.
And off days are so important, especially for pitchers, getting your arms some rest, your feet up. How important do you think tomorrow will be for you guys?
It's going to be good. We're all going to come here, probably get our light throwing in, recovering, and then up our feet and get ready for Friday.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much and good luck on Friday.
Thanks so much, Sammy. Dylan, I know you're a big fan of Sean's, and really, who shouldn't be? I mean, the guy has been one of the best closers in all of the league. Unfortunately, his efforts in the top of the ninth, not enough to overcome a 4-3 final score here from Eldredge.
Yeah, no chance for him to close tonight because it was another night of missed opportunities for the offense, and the defense also didn't help out the Firebirds with 3 errors on the night. That's kind of where things went awry. It was the inning where Falmouth scored 3, 2 errors by the Firebirds, and when you're playing defense that isn't up to par against the best of the best that the Cape has to offer, you're not going to come out on the winning side most of the time.
Feels like Orleans did a lot of things good tonight, despite the result. You come away with 7 hits. The pitching was really solid once again. Evan Truitt only went 3 innings but gave up just 1 run. 2 and 3 in the last 5 for the Birds as we begin cooling down on the Birds broadcast network. Why do you think over the last 5 games Orleans hasn't been able to come out on the right side of things in back-to-back affairs after a 3-game win streak in the middle of last week?
I'll tell you exactly why, and it's because every single night it's a close 1-run, 2-run type of game, and you're not going to win all of those, right? You can't continue to win 1-run games consistently over and over again, so it makes sense that they've gone win-loss, 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 but how do you make it so it's consistently winning? It's putting up runs and having games where you're winning games by 3, by 4, by 5, and that hasn't come to the Firebirds in a consistent basis just yet.
If there's anybody who knows about playing in close games, it's this Falmouth team. 7 of its first 8 were 1-run games. Falmouth has fallen off since then. Started the season around 500 and dropped a lot of games in a row. 5 headed into tonight. Commodores break the streak and improve to 4-10-2, still 5th in the West Division. Meanwhile, Orleans sits in the middle of the pack in the East and drops to 7-9. Dylan, an off day tomorrow for the Firebirds, back at it on Friday. And what are you most looking forward to seeing when we return to action here from Eldredge?
Well, I'm excited to see how this team responds, and I kind of link it to the win over YD in the Fog and then the loss to Cotuit. You played your best team, you played a good game. The next night, you got bit by a bad bullpen. So now you lose against Falmouth, a team that stands in the bottom of the West Division, and then on Friday, they host the top team in the East in YD.
YD on Friday, road trip to Bourne on Saturday. We haven't been here from Eldredge too often this season. This is only the 7th home game for Orleans. It felt like we haven't been here in a while. It was 6 days since the last home game headed into tonight. Good news. If you can't make these games, you can tune into them right here on the Birds Broadcast Network. Give a like and subscribe, if you wouldn't mind, to our YouTube channel. But 5 of the next 6 games for Orleans at home, a place that the Birds have only won at twice in 7 games. I mean, Dylan, there's nothing you can really say about that, I don't think, right? I mean, it's just his team is a little bit better on the road right now, but it's a great crowd once again. You see it on the field. All the kids came out to play and came out to support the team.
Yeah, just, I guess, unlucky. You can't really make a reason for it, winning on the road and dropping a few games at home. But, look, now you have the opportunity to kind of reverse that and make it better.
Make it better on Friday after an off day. Orleans has the opportunity to do that. YD, the Red Sox, are going to come into town wanting to avenge a 5-4 loss in extra innings on Sunday. One of the top teams in the East with a chance to clap back, and the Firebirds respond with a win. Before we go here on Cooling Down on the Birds Broadcast Network, I want to thank our post-game sponsor, that being Mazzio Construction. Mazzio Construction LLC worked hard to build a resume for itself. Let them put their knowledge, experience, and passion together to work for you. Their team is committed to exceed your expectations. New home, addition to existing home, renovation, they handle it all. They work close with their clients to make sure all your needs are met. They're honest, on time with schedule, and passionate about what they do. Give them a call, let them introduce you to their work, and see how they can help you. Mazzio Construction LLC. Thanks so much for tuning in on the Birds Broadcast Network tonight. Orleans drops to 7-9 on the season, snapping a 5-game losing skid. Falmouth up to 4-10-2. Your final score 4-3. Falmouth over Orleans. For Sammy Miller, Dylan Pescatore, our producer Will Lundrigan, I'm Ian Nicholas. Have a great night. Off day tomorrow. We'll see you again 6:30 Friday from Eldredge, Orleans, NYD on the Birds Broadcast Network. But until then, stay well.